Hi, I'm going to explain to you a very simple hydrostatic drive. I put this machine together. It has a hydraulic pump and a hydraulic motor driven by an auger engine, and I'll explain to you the mechanism. It's home built, so let's take a closer look. This is the auger engine, which is a 43cc engine, max RPM 8000, and it has a gear reduction 40 to 1. And down below I put a sprocket and chain drive that runs these little gear pump or motor. This is a light. So this pump is a 3.2 cc's per revolution little pump, a gear pump, and it's driven by the engine. You can see the sprocket right here, and the plumbing is connected. The high pressure line is connected to a little gear motor, which is exactly the same displacement. And this motor has got a sprocket and chain drive, and it's connected to an axle. This axle came from a Toro lawnmower. It's a 3-speed. It's not a differential. It's just a 3-speed gear reduction. And right here, you see a directional control valve. It's a solenoid valve, and it's operated with this battery here and a controller. Basically, these two controllers, I'll explain in a second. This one here is the controller for the directional control valve. This is a relay switch, remote control relay switch. So I have a key fob that operates this relay switch. And this one here is a polarity reversal switch, relay switch. I have a little gear reduction here and a motor. A little electric steering. By the way, this mechanism here, these tires and the frame, that came from a lawn cart, and these tubings are basically from Home Depots or Lowe's. You can find them. I cut them into pieces, and they're all attached together with fasteners. There's no welding done here. And there's a little light here that operates when the machine is running, and that's just to put a electrical load on this relay switch to keep the directional control valve running. So let me explain the plumbing a little bit. There's this high pressure line coming out of the pump that's going into the directional control valve manifold, and it returns coming out this way and through a filter back into the reservoir. The reservoir is basically from a Kia Optima, 2007 Kia Optima. It's a power steering reservoir fluid reservoir. So one is the suction line, other one is the return line. So it's basically an open circuit, open hydraulic circuit with a gear pump and a gear motor. And you can change the direction of the rotation of the motor by switching the directional control valve, the solenoid valve. And there's a little pressure gauge. This machine technically should be able to pull a lot of load. It's actually designed to go up to 2000 psi, but the limiting factor here is the transmission. This is a lawnmower transmission. There's a clutch there, and this clutch starts to slip when the torque is too much. So this machine weighs about 100 pounds. It's just for fun. I put this thing together. It is really not meant for any real serious work. This is just a demonstration of a hydrostatic drive. So now we are going to start up the engine and show you how when it's running. Let's see, we will start the engine now. There's one other thing to explain here. The braking is done actually hydraulically. So what happens is when I release this control switch, the key fob, the directional control valve goes to neutral position, and then there is fluid trapped in this circuit here, and the motor basically acts like a magnet and is squeezing the fluid inside, and that basically brakes the vehicle. So that's called dynamic braking, and that's actually used on a lot of built-up production machines, agricultural machines. That's how they do dynamic braking. That pretty much concludes this. Just a couple of other things here. The parts for these things, they are readily available. Like I said, the tubing you can pick up from some hardware store, and these are all 5/16 bolts and nuts. Not much to it. There's SAE 35 pitch chain here and sprockets. Those you can pick up from various different sources. And like I said, these tires, the wheels are coming out of a garden cart, and the axle, like I said, it's from a lawnmower transmission. So that and there's a little filter, oil filter here. It really should be on this side, but I had problems, so I had to put it on this side. But otherwise, maybe I didn't cover the steering. You can see there's a little gear motor here. It's actually a 2 RPM gear motor and 12 volt system, so it's kind of slow. That's why I had to kind of stop the vehicle to steer it. With a little bit more powerful and faster spinning gear motor here, you could steer it more quickly. And the electronics here is kind of a limiting factor. It doesn't allow operating the directional control valve and the steering simultaneously, so that's why you probably noticed that I had to stop to steer it. So that pretty much concludes this presentation here. If you have any questions, I would be glad to answer those.